So good afternoon, friends. This particular session is on funding agencies. In this particular session, we will discuss what are the various funding agencies who support the research of the faculty, who promote research and integrate research culture by giving various schemes and funds to the Institute of Higher Education, as well as what are the various scholarship schemes for the students to involve the students into the research at the institution level. So funding, the major actor, that is funding agencies. In India, research and development activities are generally carried out at three different segments. First one is research and development activities are carried out at industrial level in the research and development wing. And research activities are also an important part for the institution of higher education, in which various research proposals, research schemes, workshops, conferences, symposiums are organized for the faculty as well as for the students. And at the same time, government is also play an important role to provide funds for funds to promote the research culture at academic level. So research and development is an activity by which the whole nation is to be benefited. But at the same time, in India, the major contribution or the funds given by the government only, because for some of the reason it's not an profitable even by the private organization to provide fund for the various research activity. But yes, nowadays some of the industries are actively participating and provide funds to the various institutions of higher education to involve the student and to promote research culture and helping the youth to develop different kind of the skills by providing them the fund. But in India, till date, maximum of the funds are provided by the government agencies. And funding agencies are the major actors for distribution of different kind of resources in terms of money. And when they are providing resources to the institutions or to industries, as well as through some of the organization who are actively involved into the research work, they may stipulate some kind of an criteria and condition for those who are campaigning for the funds at their own level. So what are the various, what do you mean by an funding agency? Funding agency is an organization that provide research funding in the form of the research grants or scholarship. These include art councils and research councils for funding of the science. Getting resources is a creative process into any scientific or in any engineering institutions. When we seek for the funds, either the proposal is to be submitted or we have to follow some kind of a scheme that is provided by the government authorities. So in simpler term, to have fund means to get an incentive from the government as well as from the private organization to do something new. And when we are seeking funds from a funding agency, there is a strong network that is built up at the institution level. The institution authorities, faculty and students are interacting with the professional of their fields with the help of the various funding agencies, and it's a source of sharing of the transdisciplinary ideas and practices. And funding agencies, when they are fixing some kind of an criteria and condition to have funds from that particular funding agencies, they also guided the student as well as the faculty that what is doable or what is worth doing. And there are three different types of funding agencies. First one is science-based funding agencies. Science-based funding agencies are science-based funding agencies are those agencies that set up to serve the interest of scientific community in general. For example, if I'm going to take an example of AICT. AICT is a scientific-based funding agency. DST is a scientific-based funding agency. CSIR is a scientific-based funding agencies. These are the funding agencies that are set up to serve the interest of specific kind of an scientific community. Next is strategic based funding agencies. Strategic based funding agencies are those funding agencies that are set up by the government just to promote the research in some particular area or specific area of science and technology. For example, Ministry of Health and Environment, Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Power, Ministry of Water Resources. These are the scientific agencies that serve a particular kind of an interest for that particular scientific community. Next is political based funding agencies. When I said political based funding agencies, these are the very rare cases when political parties are involved to distribute the funds to promote research culture at various levels, and these are the funding agencies that are serving the immediate interest of the ministry. For example, the Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Power Resources. These are the agencies that are considered as politically based funding agencies. And on the other hand, funding agencies can be educational institutions also. For example, IITs that creating learning resources for whole of the nation, and carry out some of the scientific project as well as engineering research project for the student as well as for the faculty. These are these higher educational institutions are those institutions who guiding the people for the research, who conducting various kind of extension program, and at the same time they provide some kind of an consultancy services based on the research project. It can be central, it can be state, it can be a local institution of higher education, industries, as well as an international organization. Means along with these three different classification, there are some of the private, international, national, and local authority that also involved to provide fund to the institution for faculty as well as for the students. And why should funding agencies be so concerned with the research integrity? Why funding agencies fix up an criteria and conditions to seek fund from their agency? Any participant? When we are sending proposal through AICT, DST or CSIR, there are certain conditions and certain criteria that is fixed by those particular agencies to have fund from those agencies. Why these criteria are fixed by the agencies?
For proper conduction of research.
For proper conduction of research.
Because they wanted some output, and whatever their objective is, basically the area in which they want to promote something.
Okay. Any participant? Good output.
To maintain the minimum quality.
To maintain minimum quality. So while the researcher and institutions themselves remain ultimately responsible for the type of the quality of the research project they are carrying out. But at the same time, there are certain fixed rules and regulations that are set up by those funding agencies from which we are seeking funds. The major responsibility of the funding agencies is, first one is responsible conduct of the research. The major role of the funding agency when they providing fund to the various members who are seeking for the grant. First one is the responsible conduct of the research. The funding agencies will check and fix the criteria according to their prescribed dimensions and terms. And they will provide fund only to those activities which will actually serve the interest of the nation as a whole. Another is credibility of the science. Credibility of the science means, for example, if I'm going to submit a research proposal to DST, before providing me the funds for the completion of that particular project, the DST committee will review my whole proposal, and on the basis of the report that is given by the review committee, only then the DST will provide or release the fund for that particular research process. Because while preparing that particular research proposal, there are chances that error may be happen. To reduce or to minimize those number of errors, there is an expert committee who will review the whole project or proposal before releasing the fund to that particular authority. Next is cost of self-correction. As the participants who are with us at the center rightly added that they demand good output that must be in a prescribed time frame. Cost of self-correction means what is the economical cost of that particular research activity, what will be the expenditure, human effort and time required for the completion of that particular research activity. All these parameters need to be considered when we are seeking fund from the various agencies. Depending upon the terms and conditions described by that particular funding agency, we need to prepare proposal according to their conditions only. Next is use of the fund. The funding agency will also review with the help of that particular proposal that how these funds are to be used at institution level and how those funds will serve the purpose of that particular research activity or not. These are the different parameters that are considered by the funding agencies before releasing of the various funds to the different personas. Next is what role should be played by the funding agencies to reinforce research integrity. Why government is spending too much on research and development activities in India? Okay, in other terms, as someone said from the center, is that to improve the quality of the life. The major purpose of the research activity is to improve the life of a human community or the living community. So the government is spending funds and giving funds to the various research activity, and there are policies that are designed by the funding agencies. First one is there is a promotion of the research culture at the part of the faculty. When I said promotion at the part of the faculty means by giving the fund to the various institution and to the various private organization, the government actually encourage and motivate the individuals to promote integrity in all aspects of the research project. Next is when someone is involved into and someone is contributing to the different research and development activity means there is a generation of a new knowledge, and generation of that new knowledge is actually converted into various learning processes, and it is a continual training of the faculty as well as the student when they are involved into different research project. So there is a promotion and continual training of the faculty, student as well as the staff at institution level when they are involved into various research activity. Next, it's a transparent process. It's a transparent process means when we are seeking fund from the various funding agencies, we prepare proposals according to their term and conditions. They publish all kind of policies. They publish all kind of procedures that are fixed by that particular funding agencies, and under those particular conditions we have to submit that particular proposal. So it's a transparent process. Anyone who is interested in some kind of a research activity can identify a suitable type of funding agency from which they can seek funding. And funding agencies are also responsible to the allegation of misconduct. When there is any kind of an activity or act of misconduct, the funding agencies have the authority to withdraw the funds that are released to that particular institution or to the particular authority. Means the person who is seeking fund from the various funding agencies is actually accountable. He is actually have to work under that particular time framed conditions and with fairness, so that the research culture can be promoted into a positive sense. These are the various roles that are played by the funding agencies. So in nutshell, funding agencies are basically support the research culture at institution level or at industrial as well as private organization level, and with the help of funding agencies one can develop a network that can be national or international network by collaborating into various research kind of an activity, and it will help to facilitate the research integrity. What are the various essentials for the funded proposals? What are the various things to be considered when we are sending our project to the various funding agencies? First one is an outstanding science. What do you mean by an outstanding science? Outstanding science means, for example, there are 3 different researchers who are sitting into this particular room, and outstanding science means what are the various principles on the basis of which I am going to design my research proposal. It can be possible that those 3 individuals are sending research proposal on the same area. Why my project is best or why my project is considered excellent by that particular funding agency. What is new in that particular project? How my project is competitive with the project of other 2 individuals. What kind of sciences, what kind of principles and fundamental knowledge is involved while preparing that particular proposal for the funding agency. Next is preparation. When I said preparation, preparation means there are n number of funding agencies available through CSIR, DST, AICT, and UGC. So while sending my project, I am preparing for what kind of an funding agencies, because each and every funding agency have different terms and conditions for the proposal to be submitted. When I am preparing a project or any kind of seeking any kind of fund from that particular funding agency, my first duty is to check identify what kind of funding agency will promote my project or my proposal, and to what kind of an institution I am going to submit my project proposal. Next is care in presentation. Care in presentation means no matter how good the concept is, if you are not presenting in a logical sense, or if there is even a smaller spelling mistake while writing your project proposal, there are immense number of chances that the project is rejected by that particular funding agencies, because there can be other n number of proposals that are equally good in sciences. So presentation also play an important role when we are seeking fund from the various funding agencies. And most important is the follow-up. Follow-up means what kind of the projects that funding agency is considered excellent, what kind of the project he is funding in the past years, and what kind of the project he is expecting from the scientific and technical community. To know about the funding agency, to know about the coordinator officer is a most important aspect when we are seeking fund from the various funding agencies. So these are the different facts to be kept into mind when we are seeking proposal from the funding agency. First one is the knowledge of your field. When I said knowledge of your field, knowledge of the field means is my work is fundamental to that particular field for whom I am going to submit my project, and what are the broader implication and how the new and emerging technologies are involved in that particular project proposal. This is the knowledge area of my specific field. Next is competition. Competition means while preparing the project, my consideration is how my work is different from the other competitors in my field, and how I take the opinion of the other. Does my project is reviewed by the experts at my institution level, and do I seek help from the other experts from my area while preparing that research proposal. Next is funding agencies. Funding agencies means what are the overall funding priorities and how those funding agencies are defining the priorities to delivering funds to the various firms, and does my proposal fit for these conditions. So these are the first basic steps need to be considered when we are seeking fund from the various funding agencies. Other can be guidelines. Guidelines are the simple that what is the due date for the submission of the proposal, what will be the length of my proposal, what is the required statement by that particular funding agencies, and what are the budget constraint, and how many parameters in my proposal are actually matching with that particular guidelines, and how I modify my research proposal to have fund from that particular funding agency. Next is what kind of an budget I am requiring. Is it the budget for the infrastructure facility? Is it the budget for consumable or non-consumable item? So these things need to be decided at very first level when we are deciding to seek fund from any kind of an funding agency. Next is the local support. Local support means the facility provided at departmental level or the facility provided at institution level for the preparation of that particular research proposal, and coordinate the sponsored research. How your management and how your higher authority help you to complete the project on time with their support, and what will be the roadmap for the submission of the project from that particular funding agencies. So three most important things to consider when we are seeking fund from the various funding agency. First one is the sciences. Sciences means specific knowledge about your field or area of specialization. Management, how you manage all your responsibility along with that particular research activity, and what kind of facility you require in terms of funds or in terms of budget. All these things need to be considered. And why funding? Fund is actually support the research culture at institution level or at a nation as whole. It will attract the scholars, measure of the quality, added income resource also, and build collaboration and increase the exposure of the faculty as well as the student. And how to secure funding. There are many questions arises when we are dealing with this particular topic, that is on funding agencies, that I have submitted my research proposal, but my research proposal is never accepted by that particular funding agencies, and how to contact that particular funding agencies to have fund. My research proposal was very good, but funding agency refuses to provide fund for that particular research proposal. What are the main reason? This can be we are not able to identify the relevant funding agencies, or the terms and conditions that are defined by that funding agencies. Maybe my project is not able to fulfill the criteria of that particular funding agencies. Next is research the program. When I said research the program means, whenever we are seeking fund from the various funding agencies, my first role is to know about the post credential of that particular funding agency. What are the various experts whose projects have been funded in the past years? What kind of publication details they are required, and what kind of an expert opinion they are required for providing funds to the various project. Next is get to know about the program officer. Get to know about the program officer means, it can, if it is possible, visit and meet the program officer personally, and try to identify and get the idea from that particular program officer that what kind of an fund and what kind of an feedback he is going to give to your particular project. Another can be, what are the various parameters that are considered more important by that particular program officer while giving funds to the various institutions. Then write a research proposal. Once you identify your funding agencies, know their term and condition, get to know the feedback and past experiences of that particular funding agencies. Next is write a research proposal according to their demand. What are the terms and conditions fixed by that particular funding agencies? How innovative projects they want, and communicate well with that particular funding agencies to have funds. Get feedback and revise. When you are submitting a proposal to the various funding agencies, complete your proposal at least 3 weeks before the submission to the funding agencies, and discuss your proposal with the area of specialist and sometime with the non-specialist also, to have their opinion about your research proposal or about your research project. Factors that affecting the funding. First one is the convergence of the policies on the common proposal. In India, the basic problem with the funding agencies are, there are n number of funding agencies with n number of schemes. Means there are multiple number of the scheme, and it's very difficult for the researcher to identify what kind of funding agency is basically going to support my research work. So to identify the suitable kind of an funding agency is utmost important condition for the researcher to have fund. Implementation of the standard. When I said implementation of the standard means, what are the various tools, what are the various resources available for the completion of that particular project on time, and how can I track simultaneously about the report of my funded project by that particular agency. Now I would like to pause and question to the participant, is it ethical to seek fund from 2 different agencies for the same kind of an research proposal? Is it possible? Yes. It's not ethical for the researcher to submit the research to the 2 different agencies simultaneously, because there are some of the agencies whose require prior knowledge, and at the same time we cannot have fund for the same kind of a project from 2 different agencies. If in any case the researcher is submit the project to the 2 different agencies at the same time, the same project at the same time, there are chances that without checking by that particular funding agencies, both the agencies will finalize your funds. In that case, you have to withdraw your project from one funding agency. It will pollute the image of the researcher, the funding next time when you are submitting your project to that particular funding agency, your past experience with that particular funding agencies may be the reason that your project is not going to be funded by that particular funding agencies. And publication is also play an important role when any funding agency will give you the fund. If you have good number of publication in authentic journals and your publication is actually very good with high impact factor, and these are also the factor that affect the funding agencies to give you the various funds. Last one is the automation of the compliances. Automation of the compliances is required to reduce the time and effort. Means the researcher will spend most of the time to interpreting the rules of the various funding agencies, and at the end when he is going to identify that particular funding agencies, the role of the researcher is to prepare the plan according to that particular funding agency. So these are the various parameters to be considered when we are seeking fund from the various funding agency. Here I have taken an example of a research proposal. Same in the cases of the FDP, organizing workshops and conferences. There are certain sets and conditions that are fixed by the funding agencies. When we are going to seek fund from those funding agencies, we have to identify a suitable funding agencies and accordingly act for that particular proposal. So in India, the government is play an important role to promote research and development activity. But nowadays, some of the private organizations as well as the industries are also contributing to promote the research culture at educational institution level. Funding pattern of the government is the projects are classified into 8 major subject areas that are agricultural sciences, biological sciences, chemical sciences, earth sciences, engineering and technology, medical sciences, as well as physical sciences. These are only the broad areas. There are certain sub areas also in which the government is going to fund for various research activities. And the institutions are classified into these different categories. So what are the various funding agencies from which we can have funds? First one is the University Grant Commission. Under University Grant Commission, the first scheme is DS Kothari Fellowship Scheme. This scheme is basically for the PhD scholars. There are 2 different kind of schemes. For the candidate who either received a PhD degree or already submitted a PhD degree. This scheme or award is considered known as PDF award. Another scheme for this, the candidate, those who are holding PhD degree, who have submitted their PhD thesis may be awarded a Bridging Fellowship Award. Under this fellowship scheme of UGC, the candidates who have submitted their PhD thesis are eligible for the award of 18,000 to 22,000 per month with annual increase of 1,000 per month, and contingency grant of 50,000 is given to those particular candidates. Under Bridging Fellowship Scheme, the stipend is 16,000 per month, and this scheme can be given initially for the 1 year when the student is enrolled and submitted the synopsis, and the reviewed committee finalize the synopsis of that particular student. At that time, the student can seek fellowship scheme under this particular category. Next scheme by UGC is Emeritus Fellowship Scheme. Emeritus Fellowship Scheme is to provide an opportunity to the senior faculty member or superannuated faculty member from the various institutions and universities, provided that those institutions are government or government-aided institutions, and those faculty members must be the active participant for the various research activity. Under this particular Emeritus Fellowship Scheme, a well-defined time-bound action plan up to the age of 70, or it can be up to 2 years, that is non-extendable. Either of the 2 conditions can be satisfied. Only then the faculty can call for this particular fellowship scheme. And under this particular fellowship scheme, rupees 20,000 per month from UGC for 2 years, that is non-extendable, and contingency grant of 50,000 one time. This is the scheme for superannuated faculty members who are actually active participant into various research activity. Next is JRF and SRF scheme for various engineering graduate. JRF and the minimum qualification condition is ME, MTech, M Pharma with NET or GATE with 55% of the marks. If JRF is found satisfactory, only then it is extended up to 3 years at the level of SRF, and SRF can be further extended to 2 years more after the review of the particular committee. Next is postdoctorate fellowship scheme. This scheme is specifically for the woman candidate, and minimum qualification is PhD in sciences, engineering, and master degree in engineering and technology, or MD in medicine with 55% marks at UG level and 60% marks at PG level. This scheme is again initially given for 2 years, and if it is found satisfactory, it is extended up to 3 years. And this scheme is basically for the unemployed women who are holding PhD degree less than 55 years. This is actually to promote the research culture in the women community and to provide some kind of an financial help by University Grant Commission. Under this particular fellowship scheme, initially 25,000 rupees are given per month, and after 2 years it can be increased up to 30,000, and contingency grant of 50,000 annually for conferences and other expenses. And at the same time, the host institution or the department will get 10% of the postdoctorate fellowship scheme. These are some of the schemes that are not actually specifically for engineering and technology student. This is also for social sciences, humanities, as well as for the management faculty and student. These schemes are Maulana Azad National Fellowship Scheme for minority students. In this particular scheme, the student need to provide a certificate of minority to fulfill the criteria of this particular scheme. Postdoctorate fellowship scheme for the women, also for humanities and for social sciences. Postgraduate merit scholarship scheme for university rank holder at undergraduate level. Research fellowship in sciences for meritorious students. Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship Scheme, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Fellowship in Humanities and Social Sciences, and Postgraduate Indira Gandhi Scholarship Scheme for the single girl child. These are all the some of the schemes which you can check on UGC website. These are for humanities and social sciences. The earlier scheme that we have discussed, these are specifically for the faculty of engineering only. Next major agency which will provide fund for the various authorities, All India Council for Technical Education. Recently, AICT has requested so many proposals. The last date for the submission for those proposals for some of the scheme was 10th January 2017. And at this in this year, the AICT has introduced a number of new schemes. First one is the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan scheme. Under this Unnat Bharat Abhiyan scheme, the eligible institution must be AICT approved institutions and must be government or government aided institution. Eligibility of the coordinator, the faculty must be full-time regular faculty who seek fund under this particular scheme, and duration of the project is up to 2 years. The expected outcome under this particular scheme is to build institutional capacity in institution of higher education in research and training relevant to national needs, especially those of the rural India. Means to do rural development, AICT introduces this particular scheme in which institution of higher education can collaborate and work on different research activities and projects that are related to the development of the rural India. Under this scheme, the limitation of the fund is up to 5 lakh. 90% of the grant is given to the host institution at the time of the initiation of the project, and 10% of the funds are to be released after the submission of the relevant document under this particular scheme. Next is AICTE Adjacent Faculty Scheme. This scheme is only for 1 semester, and again the eligibility of the institution is it is government or government aided institution and AICT approved institution. The faculty who are seeking grant under this scheme must be the faculty age less than 70 years and having industrial experience of 10 to 15 years in his or her area of specialization. Under this particular scheme, the faculty can have project from the industry, and with the involvement of the student, the faculty must complete that particular project within the semester, and the fund will be provided by the AICTE up to rupees 6 lakh at the rate of 1 lakh per month, as salary included all the expenses for each cases. And the scheme is for 1 semester and the total fund is up to 6 lakh. Next is for writing, translating technical book in regional languages. The eligibility for the coordinator under this scheme is the author or the translator must be the full-time regular faculty with experience of minimum 5 years in teaching and research, and 1 faculty member per institutions can demand for this particular scheme. Eligibility is AICTE approved institution that can be diploma, degree, pharmacy, management or architecture. Duration of the project is 1 year, and the list of the different regional languages are attached with this particular scheme on the AICTE website, and maximum funding is up to 50,000 under this scheme. Not more than 50 books can be selected in an financial year. And processing methodology is application received with 3 copies of the book shall be evaluated by an expert committee of 3 members, not less than associate professor each. Next is FDP program, Faculty Development Program. The condition for the Faculty Development Program is AICTE approved government or government aided institutions, and maximum 5 proposals per institutions per year, including sanctioned earlier but not completed, would be considered. Duration of the project or the FDP must be 2 weeks, and FDP shall be conducted within the 6 months from the date of receipt of the offer letter. And limit of the fund under this particular scheme is up to 7 lakh. And condition for organizing FDP is minimum 50 participants. The FDP will be of 2 weeks, and 7,000 per participant per week is given to the host institution, and 90% of the funds is released to the institutions as advance, and 10% at the submission of the relevant document once the FDP is organized at that particular institution level. Expected outcome by this scheme is enhance the quality of the teacher, facilitate career progression and faculty development. Again, the review by 3-member expert committee, and those members must be at the rank of associate professor. Next scheme introduced by the government this year is hostel for SC/ST student. Under this scheme, the limitation of fund is up to 2 crores. The duration of the project is the hostel must be constructed within 2 years from the date of receipt of first installment. Expected outcome of this scheme is to providing facility for the SC/ST student for undergoing professional education, and to increase the enrollment rate of SC/ST community into various professional courses to develop the skill of the Indian youth. And the fund is released at 3 different levels. First is 50% of the amount is given into the first installment. Second installment is 40% of the amount after the inspection of the evaluation committee about the expenditure of the first installment. And distribution of 10% of the amount after the submission of the completion certificate. And this committee will be involved civil engineer, architect, PWD, and they require all kind of relevant document along with the annual progress report of the construction work. And if the private organization demand fund under this scheme, the condition for private institution is minimum 150 SC/ST student must be enrolled in the last 3 years by that particular institution. Next new scheme introduced by AICTE is Share and Mentor Institution. This scheme is also known as Margdarshan scheme. Under this scheme, the duration of the project is up to 3 years, and the fund provided by AICT is up to 50 lakh. The condition for the host institution is the institution must be government aided, or can be self-financed ICTE approved institutions or department, and those institutions must be established at least 15 years before the initiation of this particular scheme. The condition for this particular institution is the institution have to sign MOU with 10 institutions in their locality or in their region and act as a mentor for those particular institutions. The expected outcome under this particular scheme is to mentor the existing faculty of the nearby institutions by the mentor or by the host institution, and to guide and disperse the knowledge resources to the 10 technical institutions to encourage the different best practices. And another condition for the host institution is the institution must be NBA accredited institution. Only then he can seek fund under this particular scheme. Next is modernization and removal of obsolescence, or this scheme is particularly for the development of the infrastructure facilities of laboratory. And the expected outcome is the modernization of the laboratories. Condition for the institution who are seeking fund under this scheme is AICT approved technical institution, university department with at least 10 years of existence. And this scheme is also applicable for the self-financing institutions, and maximum 3 proposals per institutions per year, including section earlier but not completed, would be considered. And for government institutions can have maximum 10 number of the proposal per institution. And the eligibility of the coordinator is full-time regular faculty, and limiting of the fund is up to 20 lakh, and duration of the project is up to 2 years. 100% of the grant is sanctioned and amount will be released to the government and government aided institution. But in case of the private institution, initially 80% of the amount is released to the host institution and 20% of the amount is given or released to that particular institution after the submission of the utilization certificate and supporting relevant document. Evaluation of this scheme is again conducted by 3-member expert committee. At least 2 members shall be from the concerned branch or from the concerned specialization who are seeking modernization of the lab. Next scheme is grant for organizing conference. In this particular scheme, the fund is provided to the host institution is up to 15 lakh, in which 5 lakh will be met from registration fees, sponsor contribution, and 5 lakh to be contributed by the institution. The remaining 5 lakh shall be grant from AICTE. The eligibility is NBA accredited institution who are AICTE approved, and preferably NBA accredited institutions with relevant PG programs have the facility to have fund under this particular scheme. And eligibility of the coordinator is full-time regular faculty with adequate experience in teaching and research with publication. And expected organization is the host institutions can organize national as well as international level conferences at their institution. Next is research promotion scheme. Again, AICTE approved institution or university department with relevant PG program. The condition for the coordinator is full-time regular faculty. Duration of the project is 3 years from the date of receipt of the fund in the institution account, and limitation of the fund is up to 25 lakh. Full amount is sanctioned, and 90% of the amount is given in advance and 10% is given after the submission of different document. And again, under this RPS scheme, the evaluation is done by the 3-member expert committee, and those 3 members are in the capacity of associate professor. Next is seminar grant scheme. Limitation of the fund is 1 lakh for national seminar and 3 lakh for the international seminar. And condition for the seminar is the seminar must be of the duration from 1 to 3 days, and the seminar shall be conducted within the 6 months from the date of receipt of the offer letter. Condition is full-time regular faculty from AICTE approved and NBA accredited institutions or university department. The condition at institution level is maximum 2 proposal per institution per year is the condition. And expected outcome under this particular scheme is the interaction of the experts, academician to share their views, ideas, innovations and best practices in their field of specialization. Again, the review is done by 3-member expert committee and all are at the rank of associate professor. Next is new scheme introduced by the government this year, skill and personality development program centers for SC/ST student. There is no such eligibility at the part of the coordinator, but yes, the institution must have AICTE approved and existence from the last at least 5 years. In case of the private institution, the institution must enroll 150 SC/ST student in the last 3 years, and limitation of the fund is up to 25 lakhs, out of which 50% is given in the initial stage and 50% is submitted in equal installment in the 2 years after releasing relevant kind of an document. Expected outcome is to empower the SC/ST student with the essential professional skills that are required in their field of specialization. Next is travel grant scheme. This scheme is particularly designed for the faculty member. Under this scheme, the limitation of the fund is up to 1.5 lakh, and from this year, the disbursement of the grant is 100% amount is reimbursed to the faculty member, but the relevant document is to be provided to the AICTE committee, and expected outcome is to increase the interaction of the faculty at international level. The eligibility for the faculty who are seeking permission, their institution must be AICTE approved institution and should be NBA accredited. And eligibility for the faculty who is seeking fund from the organization is full-time regular faculty for presenting papers in conferences, attending workshop abroad to be sanctioned once in 2 years of the applicant. There are other schemes for management, humanity as well as for social sciences. These schemes are, first one is nationally coordinated project, national facility in engineering and technology with industrial collaboration to promote research culture at institution level, entrepreneurship development cell specifically for management group, in industry institution partnership cell to interact or to increase the interaction of the faculty with and student with industrial experts, Emeritus Fellowship Scheme to add value and quality to the teaching learning process, Career Award for the young teachers. This award is for the faculty who are having age up to 35 years, and the condition for the faculty is full-time regular faculty, and limitation of the fund is 3 lakh per year. Expected outcome is the professional growth and incentive for the innovation in teaching and research, and evaluation is again conducted by the 3-member expert committee at associate level. Visiting professorship scheme. The expected outcome under this particular scheme is to provide expertise in terms of the faculty to the various institutions, and those institutions those expert faculty are from IITs, NITs, IIM, IASC, CSIR lab, defense establishment and other institution and organization who are actively involved into various research activity. The duration of this particular scheme is up to 2 years, and limitation of the fund is up to 6.5 lakh per year. And these funds are released at 2 different installments, one at the completion of the first year and another at the completion of the second year. Next is National Doctorate Fellowship Scheme. Again, the project of this scheme is for 3 years, and the expected outcome under this scheme is to increase the number of the PhD faculty at institution level. Research Park Scheme. Research Park Scheme is eligibility of the coordinator. This scheme is for the heads, principals, as well as for the higher authority personnel of that particular institution. And 100 lakh is to be provided by the AICT and 100 lakh by the participating industry. Expected outcome is to create and promote research capability and to enhance the number of the PhD faculty at institution level. The condition is only the government or government aided institution or AICT improved institutions with NBA accreditation. Next is Innovation Promotion Scheme. This scheme is for the full-time regular faculty. Duration is not applicable under this particular scheme and limitation of the fund is up to 5 lakh. The expected outcome under this scheme is to create and update journal research capability at institution level. Again, the scheme is for full-time regular faculty. I hope the faculty must be aware with this particular scheme. This is considered as summer winter school scheme. This is for QIP centers, IITs, ISS, IISc, NIT, NITIE. And condition is government or faculty from AICT approved government or government aided institutions. The expected outcome is to enhance the quality of the teacher, facilitate career progression and the faculty development under this scheme. These are the various schemes under AICT. Some of the schemes having last date of submission is up to 10th January 2016 and some of the schemes are still open on AICT website. The institutions who are interested can apply under these particular schemes. Next schemes are Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. Council of Industrial and Scientific Research promotes schemes under 4 different broad areas. First one is the research scheme for multidisciplinary project, for inter-organizational corporation. These are including agriculture, engineering and medicines. And these research program must be in relevance to the various research activities that are conducted at CSIR laboratory. Another schemes are sponsored schemes. Throughout the year, the director of the different CSIR laboratory invite applications for the various research grants for the specific area of interest that are catered by the respective laboratories. This scheme helps the faculty as well as the student to interact with the CSIR experts and scientists and help the faculty to take project from for their core area of specialization. Next is Emeritus Scientist Scheme. This particular scheme is to use the superannuated resources in the form of experts and scientists, and they will provide their respective field of specialization at institution level. There are some another kind of schemes like Shama Prasad Mukherjee Fellowship Scheme, Senior Research Associateship Scheme, Recognition of Excellence, that is Shanti Savroop Bhatnagar Prize and CSIR Young Scientist Award. Means CSIR is basically divided their schemes under these different headings and promote research culture at national level. Under GRF scheme, the age limit for journal category is up to 28 years, and for SC, ST candidates or physically handicapped or OBC candidates, relaxation of age up to 5 years is allowed. And marks required under this scheme is 55% for the journal category and 50% for the other category. Minimum qualification condition is BE, BTech, Pharma for engineering graduate, MBBS, integrated BS, MS, MSc or equivalent degree for medical and pharmacy students, integrated MS, PhD with a proven track record of the research publications after qualifying NET or conducted by CSIR twice a year. And stipend given under this particular scheme is 25,000. It's 25,000 for the first year and 28,000 for the third and subsequent year. The duration of this scheme is initially for 3 years. Next is JRF Extended Scheme. JRF Extended Scheme means if the JRF have to publish work to their credit at the end of the third year, and if the work is found unsatisfactory, he is not able to register under PhD. But if the work is found satisfactory, the JRF scheme is extended to the 4th year as SRF and extension of the tenure for the 5th year as SRF, and net is permissible on the only after the recommendation of the 3-member expert committee, and these 3-member experts are from the different CSIR laboratory depending upon the field of specialization. Under SRF scheme, again the stipend is up to 28,000 per month and contingency grant of 20,000 per annum, and minimum qualification is BE BTech with at least 55% of the marks, ME MTech with at least 60% of the marks, BE BTech and plus 2 years of experience, at least 60% of the marks, MBBS or BDS with 1 year of internship is up to 60% of the marks, and B Pharma, BBSc is up to 55% of the marks. Initially, SRF is for 5 years, and maximum this limit is up to the 10 years or up to the age of 68 years. Earlier, there was a scheme that is considered as SRF extended. Under this scheme, the various candidate can be enrolled for PhD category, but from 1st 4th 2016, this scheme is discontinued by various CSIR laboratories. Next is schemes for sciences and engineering. First is JC Boss Fellowship Scheme. The qualification required is PhD in sciences or engineering with proven track record of publication. Maximum age limit is up to 68 years, and it's 25,000 in addition to the regular income is given to the candidate per year. Initially, the duration is up to 5 years, but it can be extended for another 5 years. Means if the committee is found the work satisfactory, this scheme is up to 10 years or up to the age of 68 years, whichever the criteria is fulfilled. Next is Ramanujan Fellowship Scheme. The duration of this scheme is up to 5 years, and this scheme is not an extendable scheme. This scheme is for the PhD in sciences, engineering or master in engineering and MD in medicine. The age limit for this particular scheme is up to 55 years, and maximum income given is 85,000 per month in addition to the regular income, and receive a research grant of 7 lakh per annum for various conferences and other expenses. Another CSIR scheme for the senior faculty member is Senior Research Associate Scheme. Under this particular scheme, the faculty member must be PhD in sciences or engineering or MD, MS, MDS with 3 years of relevant experience, or the faculty who submitted their PhD thesis. Upper age limit is up to 40 years, and it can be relaxed for 5 years for different categories of the candidate. The stipend given is 21,000 or 25,810 per month, depending upon the qualification, depending upon experience, depending upon research publication, and depending upon the performance in the interview given by that particular faculty member. The duration under this scheme is initially for the 1 year, which can be extended up to 3 years based on the assessment of the fellow by expert committee. After 3 years, this scheme is not extendable. Next is Emeritus Scientist Scheme. Scientist research during the preceding 5 years of superannuation will be eligible for extend their services for 5 years more. The limit is 55 years, and 20,000 per month honorarium is given for the duration of his or her tenure. Next is Visiting Associateship Scheme. This scheme is basically for the scientists from the universities and research and development laboratory. Age limit is middle-aged scientists from the range of 40 years to 55 years. TA and DA for 2 visits in CSIR laboratory and maximum of 60 days in a year. Tenure under this scheme is up to 3 years. Travel grant for the research scholar. Earlier, there was a scheme under which the travel grant is given for the various research scholar, but due to the budgetary constraint, the government has ended the scheme in the financial year 2015 and 16. Next is Shanti Savroop Bhatnagar Prize. This scheme is for the Indian citizen only up to the age of 45 years and overseas citizen of India and person of Indian origin working outside the country. Under this particular scheme, only rupees 5 lakh awarded annually to the worker, and qualification is the applicant must have recognizable work in the field of science and technology with good number of publications. GN Ramachandran Gold Medal Scheme for Excellence in Biological Sciences and Technology. This scheme is particularly for biotechnology engineers. This is qualification required is publication in the field of biological sciences and technology. Age limits are same as in case of Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar scheme, and stipend is given depending upon the advisory committee constitution by Director General of CSIR Laboratory with maximum 7 experts. Next, Shama Prasad Mukherjee Fellowship Scheme is basically for the students or the topper of CSIR UGC, GRF or NET awardees. Initially, this scheme is for 2 years, which can be extended up to 5 years. This scheme is for the candidate who are pursuing PhD program in CSIR and other specialized R&D universities as well as institutions. Under this particular scheme, for the first 2 years, 20,000 rupees per month along with the HRA is given to the candidate, and and contingency grant of 70,000. And it can be raised. The per month honorarium can be raised up to 24,000 from the third year onwards on the basis of the review or the satisfactory progress of the candidate. Next is CSIR Young Scientist Award. This scheme is for any scientist or any researcher not more than the age of 35 years who is working in an academic institution, working in R&D laboratories as an regular employee. The maximum award given under this particular scheme is up to 25 lakh for a period of 5 years, and which is normally to the tune of rupees 5 lakh per annum per CSIR young scientist. Next is Nehru Science Postdoctorate Fellowship Scheme. This scheme is again for the PhD holder within 3 years of award of PhD degree or those who have submitted their PhD degree. Maximum age limit under this scheme is 32 years, which can be relaxable up to 5 years for SC/ST candidate. Under this particular scheme, rupees 50,000 per month along with the HRA is given to the candidate, and contingency grant of 3 lakh per annum. 25% of the contingency can be used for domestic and international travel, including per diem expenses. The duration under this particular scheme is up to 2 years, which can be extendable for maximum 1 year more based on the outstanding performance, or if the director of the CSIR lab given recommendation for that particular researcher. Next scheme is Indian Language Journal Scheme. The basic purpose of this particular scheme is only the journal brought out in Indian language with the sole objective of popularizing science, and it is applicable anytime during the year, normally varies between 10,000 to 10 lakh per annum, and this scheme is evaluated on year-to-year basis. This scheme is basically for the publication under various journal, but those journal must be of Indian origin. Next major organization which give funds to faculty, institution of higher education and to the student is Defense Research Development Organization, also known as DRDO. There are 4 different boards under DRDO which are giving various schemes and promote research culture at national level. First board is Aeronautical Research and Development Board. The major objective of this board is to develop the facilities in IITs, universities, higher technology institution as well as colleges and other research center including industry in the country. The maximum grant given by this board is rupees 5 crore per year. But this board is promote research in some selected area, that is computational fluid dynamics, systematic design and engineering, and composite structure technology. Next board is Armament Research Board. The basic objective of this board is ballistic and aerodynamic kind of an research, research on materials and metallurgy, mechanical and electronic engineering, optoelectronic and computer techniques, explosive and pyrotechnics, modeling, simulation, and system analysis. Means this is basically for mechanical, electronics, metallurgy, and CSC students. And this board will offer various research projects, funds, develop various infrastructure facility, and help to organize seminar, workshops, and symposia under these particular broad areas, and the fund given as per the project guidelines. Next, DRDO board is Life Sciences Research Board. This board is particularly to develop the research in the area of life sciences and allied fields, and stipend given is according to the DST guidelines. Next is Naval Research Board. The Naval Research Board is recommended research project from the field of hydrodynamic, including propulsion, sonar and signal behavior, oceanic environment, and scientific computing area. And stipend is given according to the project guidelines. Next agency is Department of Atomic Energy. For the various R&D project scheme, the faculty from the universities and other similar educational and research institutions can apply for various projects under Department of Atomic Energy. The various areas supported by the Department of Atomic Energy are basic sciences, physics and chemistry, life and medical sciences, engineering sciences, material sciences, electronics and instrumentation, isotopes, application in industries, food and agricultural sciences, radiation and environmental sciences. And component of grant are equipment, consumable, travel and other contingency grant. In addition, the staff salaries are also provided who are involved into various research projects. Department of Atomic Energy also given grant for the symposium, conferences and workshop, and the major objective is to increase the interaction in the various discipline of sciences and technology that are of the interest of Department of Atomic Energy. The chairman or convener of the organizing committee can submit their proposal, and component of the grant is expenditure on the printing of the circular, invitation cards, banners, registration bag, and payment of TA and support to delegates and invited speaker is given in terms of stipend by Department of Atomic Energy. But while designing conference, symposium and workshop under DOE, we need to have what are the various areas that DOE is supported for the grants. Different schemes for the student as well as for the faculty that are introduced by the Department of Atomic Energy. First one is Raja Ramanna Fellowship Scheme. This particular scheme is for the students of BE and BTech with minimum 60% of the marks. The age limit for those students is 26 years for the journal category, relaxation of 5 years for SC/SC candidates and 3 years for OBC candidate. But those candidates must be medically fit by the BARC hospital. And stipend given is 20,000 per month with other allowance for 2 years. Along with that, contingency grant of 50,000 is given to the candidate under this scheme. Next is Dr. K.S. Krishnan Research Associateship Scheme. For this, the qualification is PhD in engineering or ME MTech with 2 years of experience in R&D. This scheme is again for the student to promote research culture among the student, and age limit is the student must be Indian and not more than the age of 32 years. Again, the relaxation of 5 years for ST/ST and 3 years for OBC candidate. And stipend under this scheme is 18,000 per month and additional of 10,000 for other expenses per year given to the student. Next is DAE Young Scientist Research Award. This scheme is for the scientists, engineers working in the universities, academic institutions of higher learning. Age limit is up to 35 years and maximum cost of the project must be under or up to rupees 10 lakh. Next is Homi Baba Chair Professorship Scheme. This scheme is for the student who are seeking admission in MTech program. The condition is the student will have admission on their own at the relevant MTech program with required pre-MTech degree disciplines such as PE or BTech or MSc. Under this particular scheme, the student must be Indian student not more than the age of 26 years and have admission to the MTech program, and stipend is given to the program to the student is 11,000 per month and one-time educational allowance that is up to 5,000 rupees. Next is DAE Graduate Fellowship Scheme. This scheme is for having admission in MTech at IIT and NIT level. This scheme is again designed by DAE for students. The condition is BE BTech with 60% of the marks and age limit is again up to 26 years. And stipend given under this scheme is rupees 20,000. Once the student is able to complete their MTech successfully, he can join 4-month orientation course at BARC Training Institution and he is directly absorbed as a Scientist C in any DAE unit with the scale of 15,600 plus 39,100 and a grade pay of 5,400 with increment depending upon the performance of the student under MTech. Total emolument inclusive of 4 increment and all allowances will be around 65,570 if posted in A-class cities. This scheme is specifically designed for the students. Next is DAE SRC's award. This scheme support to individual research worker with highly innovative ideas and with proven ability to pursue advanced research. Scheme is again for the student and condition is BE BTech with 60% of the marks. Age is scientist. There is no age limit, but the candidate must be scientist and researcher working in DAE or outside DAE unit working in the public funding institution. And stipend given is 1 crore rupee per project for 5 years. Last scheme under DAE is Visiting Scientist Scheme. This scheme is to promote the close interaction of the various scientists from the field of technology or scientist for various universities, IITs, IISc and National Laboratory. And this scheme is for the senior scientists, engineers and professors, and the stipend given for 1 month or more is 16,000 to rupees 20,000. Next is Department of Biotechnology. Department of Biotechnology given schemes to the different students that are enrolled under to the scheme of biotechnology as well as for the faculty. First scheme is Tata Innovation Fellowship Scheme. For this particular scheme, the qualification must be PhD into life sciences, agriculture, veterinary sciences or master degree in medical sciences and engineering, or an equivalent degree in biotechnology area. And maximum age limit under this particular scheme is up to 55 years. And stipend given under this scheme is 25,000 per month in addition to the regular income plus rupees 6 lakh per annum contingency. Next is Ramalingania Swami Re-Entry Fellowship Scheme. Again, the condition is PhD or equivalent in life sciences, agriculture, bioinformatics, or MTech in engineering and technology or medicine and having adequate professional experience. Under this particular scheme, the stipend given is rupees 85,000 per month with a contingency grant of 10 lakh for 1 year. For second year, the contingency grant is given as 7.5 lakh and for the subsequent third year, the contingency grant is decreased up to 5 lakh. Next scheme is Energy Biosciences Overseas Fellowship Scheme. Qualification required under this scheme is PhD in relevant areas and or outstanding track record reflected in the publication and other recognition. The candidate must be of the Indian origin who is working overseas are eligible to apply. Initially, this scheme is for 1 year that can be extended up to 3 years. The fellowship given under this scheme is rupees 85,000 per month with HRA of 7,500 per month, and research contingency grant is 10 lakh for 1 year, 7.5 for second year, and 5 lakh for the subsequent year. Next scheme is Energy Biosciences Overseas JERS. Under this scheme, the candidate must be PhD with 15 to 20 years of experience, out of which 15 years should be in the energy biosciences related area. And the age limit for this particular scheme is 50 to 65 years. Initially, this scheme is up to 1 year that can be extended up to 3 years. And the stipend given under this particular scheme is 1,15,038 rupees per month, and research contingency is up to 10 lakh per year. Next major agency who is giving fund is Department of Science and Technology, known as DST. First one is JRF scheme, SRF scheme, and postdoctorate fellowship scheme. In JRF scheme, the stipend given is 25,000 plus HRA and contingency grant of 50,000 per annum. SRF's qualification as mentioned in JRF with 2 years of experience, and stipend is increased up to 28,000. Under postdoctorate fellowship scheme, the candidate must be holding PhD degree within the last 3 years are eligible to apply and able to handle research independently. The stipend given under this scheme is rupees 80,000 with the contingency of up to 2 lakh per annum. Another scheme for senior citizens by DST is JC Bose National Fellowship Scheme. The candidate must be PhD in Sciences and Engineering with a proven record in research publication. Maximum age limit is up to 68 years, and stipend given is 25,000 in addition to the regular income, and research grant of and the research grant of 15 lakh per annum, and overhead of 1 lakh per annum is given to the host institution. JC Bose National Fellowship Scheme is initially for the 5 year, which can be extended for more 5 year in an second term. But the condition is either 10 year of this under this particular scheme or up to the age of 68 year. Next scheme under DST is Ramanujan Fellowship Scheme. Again, the qualification is same as in JC Bose National Fellowship Scheme, but the age limit is up to 55 years, and the stipend given is 85,000 in addition to regular income per month, and research grant of 7 lakh per annum for conferences and other expenses. And this scheme is only for 5 years, and this is non-extendable scheme. Next is National Postdoctorate Fellowship Scheme. Qualification is PhD, MD or MS. Age limit for general category is 35 years and relaxation of 5 years for other categories. Fellowship given is 55,000 per month consolidated and 35,000 per month for those who have submitted the thesis but degree is not yet awarded. Research grant of 2 lakh per annum and overhead charges of 1 lakh per annum. This is initially for the 2 year and purely on temporarily basis, and in exceptional cases only this is further extended up to 1 year, but there is no provision of the extension beyond 3 years. Next is Early Career Research Award Scheme. Qualification is PhD, MD or MS. Age limit is same as the previous scheme and grant is up to 50 lakh. That included overhead charges. This scheme is given only one time for the young researchers. Next is SCRB oversees postdoctorate fellowship scheme. This scheme is for PhD in sciences and engineering. The purpose of the scheme is to promote postdoctorate fellowship degree. This scheme is initially for the 1 year and can be extended for further 1 year. Next SCRB scheme is for the Women Excellence Award. This is for the women scientists below the age of 40 years, and research grant is given 5 lakh per annum and only one-time grant is given. Another is Distinguished Fellowship Scheme. This scheme is for the superannuated scientists who are active in the research, and the research grant is given up to 5 lakh and fellowship amount of 60,000 per month. Initially, this scheme is for 3 years and extendable for another 2 years. Another funding agencies who promote research in the various areas of pharmaceutical sciences as well as drugs, who are giving collaborative R&D project with the help of DST, is Drug and Pharmaceutical Research Board, who doing project with the collaboration of the various agencies, and some of the industries also joined this particular research board. The website of this particular board is given on the slide. You can have a look and identify what are the various funds that are given by this particular agency. Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. Department of Scientific and Industrial Research is promoted different schemes such as technology promotion, development and utilization programs, and its component. The major objective of DSIR is to promote and support industrial effort toward R&D, encourage R&D system industry corporation, support industry for technology development, demonstration and absorption of the imported technology, build indigenous capability for the development and commercialization of the contemporary products and process of the high impact, evaluate the status and performance of the technology in selected sectors and area, and facilitate transfer and management of technology, promote international technology trade, including export of the technology projects, services, technology intensive product, promote, and the major objective of this particular organization is to promote and strengthen the consultancy services and capabilities that can be used at a domestic level and export the requirement. They are using different kind of mechanism and resources at national as well as at international level towards the transfer of the technology within the country and outside the country. The major objective of this organization is to promote and to increase the rate of the technology transfer at very cheaper rate so that the industry, the Indian industry can cope up at global environment for the promotion of various R&D activities as well as technologies. So the objective that are implemented through this 6-component scheme is International Technology Transfer Program, Consultancy Promotion Program, and Technology Information Facilitation Program. So the major objective of this organization is to increase the collaboration in various areas of science and technology at national as well as at international level, and it provide a platform for the various industries, research organization as well as private research organization to share their views and experiences and participate in the growth of the nation as a whole. Next is Indian Meteorological Department. Indian Meteorological Department entertain the research project in the field of atmospheric sciences or in the field of meteorological sciences, with particular reference to the Indian region received from the scientists working in universities, institutions and government organizations for their funds under its grant in aid program. Means IMD time to time given number of the research project to the various institutions in the field of atmospheric sciences, in the field of meteorological sciences to promote research culture in the specified areas. Next is Indian Space Research Organization, also known as ISRO. This is considered as Department of Space. Under this department, the first scheme or the project is Junior Research Fellowship Scheme. The basic qualification under this scheme is postgraduate in basic sciences or graduate degree in various professional courses. The stipend given by the ISRO in the first and second year of JRF is up to 25,000 rupees, and in SRF it can be increased up to 28 year plus 1 year of extension depending upon the review that is given by the expert committee held at uh, Indian Space Research Organization. Research associateship level 1, 2 and 3. At level 1 the stipend given as rupees 22,000. RA2 level the stipend given as 23,000 rupees and RA3 is 24,000 rupees. For this particular scheme the qualification is PhD, MD, MS, MDS or equivalent with 3 years of experience in research or ME, MTech, M Pharma or MV, SC. Next is ISRO sponsored research program also known as RESPOND. The objective of this particular program is to conduct research and development activity in the field of space sciences, application and technology at various universities and institutions. The basic objective of this particular program that is known as RESPOND is to establish the interaction between the scientists working at ISRO and academic institution. The stipend given as per the project guidelines. Next is Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, also known as MOCIT. Name of the schemes and funded project under this organization is, first one is the Bioinformatic Project. Bioinformatic project is basically for the student and faculty of the life sciences as well as from the area of pharmacy and biotechnology. Next is Nanotechnology Initiative Division Project. Nanotechnology Initiative Division Project is for the students from applied physics or basic sciences, the students from electronics and computer sciences, and some of the mechanical students can also have different kind of a project under this scheme. Next is Microelectronic Development Division Project. Industrial and Electronic Application Development Division Project. Electronic Component and Material Division Project. Photonics Development Division Project. Semiconductor ICS Layout Design Registry Project. Strategic Electronic Division Project. Medical, Electronics and Telemedicine Division Project. Ubiquitous Computing Project. High Performance Computing Project. Innovation and IPR Project, CCBT Project, and Free and Open Source Software Project. Next major agency is Ministry of Environment and Forest, MOEF. The name of the schemes that are, some of the schemes are also under revision are, first one is Environmental Research Program. Environmental research program involve all kind of an environmental product that are related to the management of the environment, that are related to the planning of an environmental condition or sustainable development program, also the project that are related to environmental auditing. All those kind of a nature of the project are considered under environmental research project. Next is Ecosystem Research Scheme. East and Western Ghat Research Programs, Biosphere Reserve Programs, Mangrove and Coral Reef Research Project, Projects on Wetlands, National Natural Resource Management, for example, Ganga Action Plan, National River Conservation Program, and some of the consultancy and research projects are also designed time to time depending upon the need of the environmental conditions. For example, the projects that are related to wildlife. Next is Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Resources. The name of the schemes, and these schemes are under revision by the government from time to time to change the criteria and specification of the scheme. First is the Industry Institute Partnership in Research and Development Project. This scheme is particularly to encourage the public as well as the private organization for the research and development in the sector of non-conventional energy resources on cost sharing basis. And the program of the ministry are implemented mainly through the state energy development agencies and state electricity board. The greater thrust has been given to the research and development through the active involvement of research institutions, universities, industries, and non-governmental organizations. Next is Ministry of Power, Central Power Research Institution. The name of the scheme is Research Scheme on Power, known as RSOP. The basic purpose of this scheme is to provide the fund for carrying out need-based research project in power sector, including solving of the power system operational problem in India. Next is Ministry of Water Resources. Ministry of Water Resources or Research and Development for Water Resource Management. This particular organization find out the practical solution for all the water related problems that are occurring into the country, to promote and to improve the available technology and engineering methods and procedure related to the water resources, to maintain a lead in the latest technology, and so as to enable export of expertise from India in competition with other developed nations to countries that import such expertise in order to earn foreign exchange, help to increase the GDP of the country, and provide employment opportunity for Indians abroad. To prepare and maintain a comprehensive documentation, preferably using IT of R&D, done so far at national as well as at international level. To prepare, coordinate and recommend funding of the research program to be taken up by the institution in the country on basic and applied research, action research and other areas that are related only to the field of water engineering or water resource management. Next is Ministry of Water Resources also review R&D program in the area which need immediate action and attention and encourage the national institution to take up the research on those particular area. For example, research on the area of water harvesting, research on the area of watershed management, research on the area of protection of various water resources. To disseminate information and stimulate thinking related to the subject field by publishing journals, research news, digest, arranging and conducting seminars, conferences, workshop and supporting mass awareness programs. To provide support for the infrastructure development of research institution working in the area of water resources. To encourage indigenous industries to take up technology development into the subject area, and to promote and coordinate the effective participation of India in international programs that are related to the various water resources, and to promote educational training, human resource development program in the area of water resource management. So these are the basic agencies for which we can seek fund for the various research projects for various organizations, symposium, conferences, and there are n number of the schemes that are introduced by these particular agencies to promote the contribution of the student for the involvement into the research culture, and to promote the awareness and to provide resources for the student to develop different kind of the skills. For engineering, the major basically for engineering sciences and technology, the major organization that are providing fund is AICT. UGC also promote research in the field of science and engineering as well as in the field of social sciences, humanities and basic sciences. CSIR is providing schemes for the senior faculty member, for the senior scientist. Some of the scholarship schemes are for the student and for the research project, whereas Department of Atomic Energy and ISRO designed number of the research projects time to time and give those research project to the student of higher education or to the various academic institution who are interested into various research activity. And depending upon the project guideline, the fund is to be given to the various institutions. And there are some of the agencies who giving fund in the area of biotechnology, in the field of meteorological sciences, water sciences. So these are the basic fund. So when, remember, funders are the partner. When we are seeking fund from the various funding organization, it's a creative process. We writing number of times to the various funding agencies to have fund from those particular organization, and this help to develop a network at institution level, where the experts from that particular field area have a word with the faculty as well as with the student. The student will actively involve into various research projects with the help of the faculty, and it will help to promote and integrate the research culture at academic institution level. And when we are seeking fund, the first thing to keep into mind is always build a relationship with the funding agency. When I said always build a relationship with the funding agency, before giving your proposal or before seeking fund for the various activity, always know about the program officer who is going to give fund for that particular activity. What is the past record of that particular funding agency? What kind of an research project, what kind of FDPs, conferences, workshop they are actually supporting in their past, for whom we are seeking the fund. Be courteous and respect their time. When we are preparing proposals to seek fund from the various funding agencies, the proposals are actually under defined time limit. The budget is already defined. The cost per project is already defined. And the funding agency is always seeking for the quality input within that limited time period, and that within that specified budget constraint. And when we are submitting the project to the various funding agencies, always follow their policies and rules that are already prescribed on their various websites. Before deciding the project to be sent to the various funding agencies, identify the funding agency, what kind of the project, which kind of funding agency is supporting. After knowing the interest of the various funding agency, only submit your project to that particular funding agencies and discuss the opportunity. At institution level, there must be a sharing of the idea between the faculty as well as sharing of the idea with the students. When we are sharing number of ideas related to the research activity, we are actually discussing the opportunities in that specific area for which we can prepare proposal or send our project details to the various funding agencies. And once the individual submitted the project to that particular funding agencies, always follow up to that particular funding agency to know the feedback about their project or the progression related to that particular funding agencies. In this particular session, I specifically mentioned some of the funding agencies, their recent project details, but there are a number of more projects that are related to that particular organization, and some of the funding agencies in the different areas of sciences and engineering as well as humanities and social sciences. By going to their websites, you can have a look about the policies, schemes and criteria that are now in action by those particular funding agencies. Yes, from any institution, any connected center, question from the participant related to this?